Welcome to the ISO Show, dispelling myths and sharing tips for success to improve your business with ISO standards.
If you're listening to this podcast, then you're in great company. We've got thousands of listeners who have a thirst for continual improvement and raising standards in business. Whether your interest is in quality, sustainability, or risk standards, I'd love to welcome you as a member to our online platform for all things ISO, the ISology Hub. The ISology Hub is the leading place to get access to all of your online resources, from in-depth training courses through to our very popular coffee break training, to templates and action plans and many other resources to help raise standards. As a member, you get access to over 100 courses, taking you from learner to practitioner to leader. The ISology Hub has all the resources that you need, which will really help to make your life easier and to help improve compliance in those business critical areas. So if you'd like access to learning and compliance resources ranging from data privacy to environmental management, anti-bribery, business continuity, quality, health and safety, to name just but a few, the list is endless actually, then we'd love you to come and join us. Just head over to the isologyhub.com.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the ISO show. This is Ian Battersby, a senior ISO consultant at Blackmores UK Limited. We're running a series of sort of collaborations with clients and partner organisations where we talk about, certainly for our clients, their journey on certification to a specific ISO management system standard. Today we want to talk about ISO 55001, which is the asset management standard. Our guest today, thank you, is Andy Barnes. Andy's the head of asset management for Greater Anglia. So welcome, Andy. Good to have you on.
Thank you very much. It's good to be here.
Yeah, it's good. It's always good. I enjoy these because, as I've mentioned in previous rounds of this podcast, I get to talk to clients quite often that I've not met before. My colleagues have worked with them over time. I also get to talk on subject matters that I'm not particularly close to. My forte isn't asset management, 55001. I've never worked with it closely. I know of it because of my previous history in estates and facilities management side of things. But it's not something I'm close to, so I learn more and more as I go through these sorts of things. But before we go into the detail of asset management, Andy, we always do this to our guests. Could you share with us and our listeners something about you that not that many people know? Not doesn't have to be a deep, dark secret, but just something not many people know.
Well, yes. So going back into the 80s, I was part of the Lord Mayor's show when I was an apprentice on the railway.
Ah, right.
We built a float that we took around the streets. And we all had to, as a group of apprentices, we had to walk with the float, dressed up in costume that represented different countries that our product went to. So I was dressed as a matador. And just before we set off, I had to swap trousers with someone because they couldn't get in these trousers. And the trousers that I got were too big for myself. So I had to walk around the whole of the circuit holding with two hands in my pockets, holding the trousers up. Subsequently, I got in trouble because I was told that I didn't look like I was enjoying myself because I was walking around with my hands in my pockets.
Oh, were you slovenly?
Yes. Yeah. But had I not done that, they would have been around my ankles.
Yeah, so. Yeah, the wrong trousers. Very much Wallace and Gromit there, eh?
Very much so, yeah.
So I presume that's the Lord Mayor of London show then, yeah, the big one.
It is, yeah. Yeah. We started around King's Cross, we started off, yeah.
Yeah. So have you, talking about being an apprentice in the railways then, have you always been in the railways?
Apart from a short break of a couple of years, but yes, I started in 1985 as an apprentice.
Right. Okay.
5-year indentured apprenticeship with British Rail.
Right. Okay. So on that matter then, so tell us a bit about Greater Anglia, but about the organisation, the size of it, the nature of it, that sort of thing.
Sure. So we started as Greater Anglia in 2012. We took over from National Express East Anglia. We serve the Anglia region from Liverpool Street Station. Liverpool Street Station is the managed station, Network Rail station, but all of our lines come from there. We was unusual when we started in Greater Anglia in that we are under a full repairing and insuring lease, which is different from the typical arrangement where you have station access conditions. And so the responsibility for maintenance and repair used to be split between Network Rail and the train operator. When we took over our stations, we took over the renew responsibility, the repairing responsibility.
Right. Okay.
So, yeah, it was quite a step change in what had gone on before. So we've now got 134 stations.
Right.
So there was some more. Some were taken over on the Enfield Town line and up the stations up to Brentwood. So they were taken over by, TfL. So we've also got 2 other stations that are in construction at the moment. We've got Bewley Park, which is opening in October this year.
Right.
Being built by Network Rail, and then they're handed over to us to operate. So that's just north of Chelmsford. And we've got Cambridge South, which is south of Cambridge, strangely enough.
Strangely enough, yeah.
Yeah, that opens early part of 2026.
So you've got a no doubt a huge asset base within that portfolio then, yeah, where management of that is very important.
We have, yeah. So we've also got 7 depots that we use as well. So train depots, so stabling and maintenance depots, one of which is under the full repairing lease. So of the 134 stations plus the 1 depot, all of those assets are ours to inspect, assure and renew, maintain as we go, yes.
Right. Uh-huh.
So there is quite a lot of assets within that, and we're held to account in various ways. SQR is one way that we're challenged now on cleanliness of the stations.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, so there's mystery shoppers that go out and check on
right.
what condition the station's in, mark against certain criteria, and then score us on that. We do quite well on that. And then we have to inspect all our assets on a condition surveying regime. We score those and report those scores up to the DFT ORR Network Rail.
And I'm presuming then it's not just in terms of property. You've got assets installed on your rolling stock as well, then, haven't you? Which I imagine brings another layer of complexity to what you do.
So the rolling stock, we've recently changed our rolling stock. It's been a large program over the last few years. They're maintained by the manufacturers at the moment.
Right.
Yeah, so a slightly different scenario. We used to, on previous rolling stock, we had our own staff within the depots that would maintain and service the trains.
Right. Okay.
But when we changed the rolling stock, the contract to maintain that rolling stock, be it Bombardier or...
Right, different set of issues altogether there. So what about your role then, Andy? What do you do? I understand you've not been in this role for that long.
No. So officially in the role since April this year. So as the head of asset management, I look after, I've got some asset managers, largely civils. I've got asset inspectors. We do majority of our condition surveys internally with our internal resource. We have some interface project managers that manage the new stations, for example, the Bewley Park and Cambridge stand. I'm also responsible for the engineer and assurance team, where we have a group of project engineers, designated project engineers that do the engineer assurance role on the work that we do.
Right.
So they're the people that would determine the technical aspects of the large schemes that require design.
Right.
And take it through the design process with the governance that's associated with those schemes.
Right. Okay. And as an organisation, How do you manage ISO standards? Do you have more than one? Do you have 55,001 in addition to other standards?
So we do, as an organisation, we have some other standards. I can't remember off the top of my head what they are. It's 9001 is one of them.
Yeah.
And there's some others in the engineering side as well.
Uh-huh.
So we manage these, well, primarily, let's say that 55,001, and managing this is relatively new to me. But obviously with the support of Blackmores, that's how we interpret the standards and apply the standards to show how our processes work and how we achieve the standard quality. So processes, procedures, it's all managed by we have a project management team.
Right.
PMO team. So they guide us in a lot of that. So they're internal. So we do regular reviews of the ISO requirements. We've got things like a strategic asset management plan.
Right. Mm-hmm.
A risk register and continuous improvement plans,
right,
for example.
So you're finding there's crossover between the different standards, which is supportive of what you do then?
Yeah, so it is how those standards apply to us in being able to carry out our work. This is something I'm very keen on, and coming from a slightly different world of CMMI in managing and achieving a maturity in what you're doing, and being able to look back on yourself and not criticize yourself so much, but lessons learned.
Critique.
Critique perhaps is a better word, but it is being able to look back and thinking, well, this doesn't quite work well, or it doesn't achieve what we're trying to achieve. So having that level of maturity throughout the team to be able to do that and put your hand up and say, we should try, or can we try it this way, because that will cover off this aspect of whatever we're trying to do.
Absolutely, yeah. And for me, that's the most important part of the standards, is being able to reflect on how you've done things and improve how you do things. That's the whole ethos of all of the management systems, is that continual improvement. And without honestly doing that critique, you don't actually get to sort of concrete improvement, I don't think. So what's your experience been like then at 55,001? Before you joined in your current role, had you been exposed to the standard in any previous lives, or is it quite new to you?
It's quite new to me. I was aware of it. So I was a senior asset manager within the team, but I looked after the M&E assets. So this process was managed by the head of asset management previously. And so aware of it happening within the team, aware of all the hard work that goes into it, aware of the processes and procedures that were put in place for it, and having used those processes and procedures. But actually being involved with the audit itself, I hadn't been involved in that. So it's been new to me, quite eye-opening, interesting. So, yeah.
Yeah, it quite often is quite eye-opening when you're exposed to audit. Did you find that you've been working in, the M&E side of the asset management previously? Did you feel that you were essentially doing the right sorts of things, but there were just layers of the standard you didn't understand potentially that you just needed to address? There was terminology perhaps you didn't get. Was that what helped you?
Quite often what would happen is you do find yourself doing the right things for the right reasons.
Yeah.
But you do also find that there isn't a process that supports that.
Yes.
Or a procedure that supports it. So you're kind of achieving the end goal, but not really knowing how you got there.
Not in a planned manner.
In a planned and regulated manner, yes. So that's where a lot of that came back to show me how it worked and what the benefit of it was, and having sort of clearly defined lines, clearly defined processes, and as I say, learning from those processes. And
yeah.
So yeah, it was, like I say, certainly an eye opener. So
yeah. So you mentioned that as a benefit. Are there any other main benefits that you've seen through applying it in a standards approach rather than that the manner that you described just there?
Yeah. So efficiency improves. So there's always a way to go. I doubt we'll ever be in a utopian scenario of achieving some sort of transcendence place. But yeah, improved efficiency. So getting new and improved processes in place, it helps us with time and resource management. So eliminating inefficiencies Do we have enough meetings? Do we have too many meetings? Do we discuss this too often? Those sorts of things, and making sure that we're doing the right things enough, but not overkilling it with layers and layers of bureaucracy necessarily. Risk mitigation's another one, learning from past mistakes. So we have a lessons learned database. So at the end of each project, we have a question that's raised in one of our board meetings, find whether we need to learn any lessons from a particular project. Now, that can be any sort of lesson. And we hold them with and without the contractors that we use for delivering the works.
Right.
So we get slightly different opinions sometimes, but equally we like to hear from the contractors to see if we need to do anything better as well.
Yep.
And we've learned lessons out of that, how we pay contractors, how we manage contractors, what information is preferred at the beginning of projects, that sort of stuff.
Right. That's a really useful sort of approach, isn't it? Talking to the people you work with. The whole concept in the standard is about understanding your context and then understanding your interested parties. What do they want from you?
Yes.
And talking to them, that two-way dialogue sounds like a really powerful way to make sure that what you want from them is really specified from the outset.
Yeah, it is. It's, we make it clear to them when we're having those lessons learned that there's no comebacks to it. So that they might be concerned that if they said anything too wrong, it might upset us, that it would affect their work. But we look upon it as a learning experience. So if we can be better for them, then it makes it all the more efficient for projects that we do to get a better product at the end of it, as in it's all about the asset renewal or refurbishment. So it works for all of us as we see it. So,
and are you finding that everybody's adapting to that maturity then and gaining the right result? That sort of approach is working? There's no negativity in that?
It does work. Not perfect. No, very few things are, but it tends not to be negative. Even though you might talk about negative things that happen, you can learn from it positively. So it is being able to take the lesson and identify the lesson and take that lesson and apply it going forward. So we take the lessons and we have a database of those lessons. And we've also, Network Rail do this as well. And we've just been granted access to their lessons learnt database as well. So we get a wider knowledge of other projects that go on and lessons that they would learn. So you can search that if you're renewing a footbridge or if you're, refurbishing a platform, whatever it might be, you can put those search terms in and see what lessons come out of it. Some of them are not valid because they might be site specific, but other things that, but learning about other things that would affect your platform or footbridge, whatever it might be, where there's consistent approaches, then we learn about that.
It sounds like a very collaborative approach across your whole value chain there, from the supply chain through to the client.
It's useful. It's useful. We all want to be able to deliver things as quickly and as efficiently as possible. It saves time, and time tends to save money. And the biggest impact is obviously anything that we do on the stations. It affects the passengers.
Yes.
And people using the stations. So the more that we can minimise that, the better it is for everybody as we see it. So
you've described it in your sort of journey of adopting 55001. Something we come across quite regularly, which is people doing the right thing, but lacking the structured approach to planning it, processing, in the right governance and reporting arrangements. You touched on that, which to me is really important, the governance structure in checking that you're doing the right things and not being burdensome and bureaucratic. The looking back at whether it's worked or not, and then the planning to improve it. That sounds like a quite a virtuous way of it happening. Does that sum up your journey reasonably well? It sounds to me like it's been really quite good.
It does, yeah, and it's quite refreshing really to have a sort of culture of learning where none of us expect to know everything. Continuous improvement, it gives you that culture of people not being afraid to suggest innovation.
Yeah.
And so it's better overall for all of these things. I mean, ultimately, from asset management point of view, we want to maintain an asset or renew an asset into a functional state and preserve it for as long as possible. So we need to intervene as quickly and as efficiently as possible to minimise the impact to the people using it.
Yes.
And we need, minimising the time on site with things like modular construction of stuff and lifting it in. We can do some of that, which we've learned from other projects, where that applies best. So again, disruption is minimised.
Yeah.
Time and efficiency is maximised, really. As I say, we always have these opportunities for lessons learned. So, and it's not always about the negative stuff. So it can be about positive outcomes as well.
Yes.
So typically lessons learned can be seen as being a bit negative, as in we could have done that better. But sometimes actually it's worth saying, and we do say that, where we have positive outcomes, we need to record those as well.
Indeed. And the standard's all about risk and opportunity. It's not all negative.
That's right.
So we need to embrace that side of it as well, I think. We really do. So would you have any advice, any top tips you would give to people who are considering implementing ISO management system standards, whether that's 55001 or anything else?
It's preparation, doing your homework, gain a good understanding of the standard and take your time to weave it into your day-to-day processes and procedures. So the preparation is always key. If you've got access to anyone like an ISO champion, if you like, or someone that's implemented standards, or you've got access to someone like that, like Blackmores itself, that help you translate the standard into your day-to-day work and make it apply for you. So once you do that, there's a lot of work involved in it, but it's surprising generally how much you do. Like I mentioned before, you actually do it, but just don't record it. And so it's the recording of it and showing that you do it. And then once you see that, you then grow from there. So yeah, preparation, getting someone to assist is the keys. Yeah. So that, don't think that you need to do it on your own necessarily and try to interpret and apply the standards.
No, we're always here. We're always here to help. There's some phrases you used in there. One is the making it part of your day to day. The new form of standards have tried very hard to use phrasing and requirements within them to try and make people entwine their management systems with the way they do business, to get away from that old standalone idea. So your idea of making it day to day is important. Also translating it. The standards are written in a wordy fashion for standard sorts of people, and being able to translate that into meaningful things that exist within your business, and your day-to-day life is quite important, because often what it means is not what you can understand from what it says. So getting to translate, that's quite helpful. Yeah. So yeah, I get those. Yeah. So on the standards itself, then, on management system standards, anything you're enlightened by it? Is anything else you want to say about how it's worked for you before I move on to something entirely different?
Yeah, like I say, it's relatively new days for myself, but I'm constantly impressed with how much our business is attuned to the standards, particularly 55001. And it's seeing that in practice that translates the standards in a sort of backwards fashion to myself. I'm very used to technical standards, being sort of electrical by trade, and things are very numbers.
Yes, right.
This will equal this voltage if that voltage is too high. But
absolutely, yeah.
These are written in a very different way, aren't they? So that it's
they are, yeah.
So being able to understand the standard, we need people like yourselves to be able to translate that, and then seeing that standard. And once you get that translation and understanding of how it works, looking at it back onto your business, how you're working, that's sort of self-achieving for me, insofar as you can see the whole process working.
Yeah. And that's good to hear, actually, that you can make, even though they're written in a particular manner, you can make them work for your type of organisation. And that can be any type of organisation. The standards transcend every type of sector, really. So it's good to hear somebody who's in a large organisation, a quite technical organisation, being able to understand how it applies to them, which is good. So, we're nearly done, Andy. But before we leave, a couple of different questions, right? One is about books. If you could gift a book to somebody, what book would it be and why?
Oh, it's an interesting question. A lot of it would depend on the person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So the two that really stand out for me. So when I read a lot, but I read a lot of rubbish, to be honest.
I read slowly.
The two that stand out for me and really sort of stuck with me, 1984 by George Orwell.
Oh, yes, yes.
It was sort of takes you to dark places, really, and thought police and God knows what else. But yeah, it's...
and how prescient it seems to have been.
Oh, absolutely. The other one, which probably inspired me to read more, was probably less about the book, but more about the author. It was Adolf Hitler, My Part in His Downfall by Spike Milligan.
All right, yeah, I've never read it.
Yeah, it's just enjoyable, funny books, and it started me off reading Spike Milligan's books. I mean, this is going back to when I was in school, so yeah, from that perspective, I say it depends on the person, really.
Yeah, different audiences.
It is slightly, but yeah, they were two important ones for me.
Yeah, I ought to catch up with some Spike Milligan, I suppose. I remember growing up seeing him on TV quite a lot. It was quite amusing. And finally, do you have a favourite quote that you would like to leave our listeners with?
I do. And I have a few, but what's most pertinent, I think, really is by failing to prepare, you're preparing to fail.
Yeah.
It's really pertinent to what we're talking about here. You need to prepare in a lot of these aspects, not only from maintaining the standard, but also to be aware of what you're doing and what information you have. Yeah, it's attributed to Benjamin Franklin, I think. But I think it's...
Oh, is it? Right, I never knew. And that could literally be the foreword to any management system standard, couldn't it?
Pretty much, yeah. It's always something that, if you're dealing with anything like this, you do need to prepare, and that part of that preparation, like the assistance we have with the standards. There's no point trying to take on this standard and achieve the standard if you haven't got that preparation in place. And the preparation comes from people that know what they're talking about, know how to interpret the standards and apply the standards to your business. So.
Yeah. Well, that's good to hear. Well, that's a great place to end, I think, Andy. Thanks very much for your time today. Really useful insight. It's good to hear that the way you've described how it's worked for your organisation is quite the model for what we expect to see. So it's really comforting to hear that that's happened. And your final quote, I will take on to our marketing and my next job. Thank you again.
That's all right. You're welcome.
Cheers. So that's Andy Barnes, everybody, from Greater Anglia. Been really useful today. Very interesting. Hope you've all enjoyed it. Please join us again on a future episode of the ISO show when hopefully we'll get to talk to somebody with another interesting story about their journey on ISO management system standards. Thank you. Goodbye.
Looking to use ISO standards to drive better business practice? Contact us at blackmoresuk.com to access further information and book your free 15-minute call.